All righty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to have a bit of a discussion today about a game that, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going that well. And it's a game that I initially was making content on the channel, but that started slowly falling off as I saw that there were some holes, there were some issues with the endgame loop. And that is Duet Night Abyss. And Duet Night Abyss has just dropped its version 1.1 update, which I think is something that a lot of players were looking forward to, but unfortunately, had high expectations for as well, considering that 1.0 launched, like I mentioned before, with some of those endgame gameplay loop problems like that. And it appears that the community seems to be very vocally agreeing that 1.1 might not have solved the problems. So let's read the situation going on over here. I've already got my personal grievances when it comes to this game and also its community as well that I'll keep top of mind and make sure to reference when necessary. I was really on the dev side this entire time, hoping against all odds they might pull through with a redemption in 1.1. It turns out 1.1 is worse than 1.0 when it comes to player friendliness. The visual upgrades are nice, and they are appreciated, but at least a dozen other posts have pointed out everything else has just gotten worse. New animo wedges that go hand in hand with the nerfing of the most popular secret letter farming spot. Because yes, ladies and gentlemen, secret letter clues, which are essentially how you get new characters, new weapons, and endgame gear in DNA, apparently they've been nerfed. So that's something to keep in mind too. They also added 20 levels to every enemy in the immersive theater, the endgame, which is essentially the same thing as HP inflation. That only serves to gatekeep new players even further from the endgame. And do you want to know what's available in the endgame? The new characters. You are not able to unlock any of the new characters unless you're able to complete the endgame. And so the endgame has basically had 20 levels added, apparently, to a bunch of the enemies, and that just gatekeeps the newer players. And so essentially, it becomes a matter of, well, I hope you're paying to progress, or you're paying to I6 units, right? To be able to actually unlock these guys if we're increasing the levels on every enemy by 20. You can see over here, this is not looking that particularly amazing, when one of the big complaints that I had when it came to the endgame was the fact that there needed to be more. I didn't say that it needed to be harder and that the enemies need to be HP inflated, that there needed to be like more variety in the stages that you could do. You will definitely be playing the end game more, but that's just because it's going to take way longer to actually be eligible to complete it, and you'll spend a lot of time failing runs. It is what it is. Personally, I couldn't get past Act 7. Enemies there are level 105 already. You need to clear up to like Act 12 to be able to get enough secret letter clues to like build these characters to the level that you want them. So yeah, if somebody's was previously clearing Act 12 and now they're having trouble clearing Act 7, I'm gonna be honest, guys, that's not looking particularly great. Because I've already shown you how, with a close to max level account, right, I've already experienced gameplay in this game in the endgame. And there is a really, really rough spot to keep in mind when, in this video over here, where I'm just playing through some of Duet Night Abyss's endgame, here, what enemy are they in Act 12 right now? They're getting knocked everywhere. I cannot eat. Are these guys 105? Wait, are these guys 105? These guys are 104. So in Act 12, in 1.0, they were level 104. And in Act 7, they're level 105. So Act 7 is now harder in 1.1 than Act 12 in 1.0. I wanted adjustments to the end game, but not like this. Oh, but I have the intertwined thoughts to make up for the floors I'm missing. And the new premium items save some time on farming. I guess they added those. Honestly, HP inflation for the endgame coming as early as 1.1 has to be some sort of record. I could farm for the new wedges, but at this point, all the wind has been taken from my sails. DNA, unfortunately, I think sets some sort of standard of, okay, we're gonna introduce new wedges that I guess players are to be incentivized to grind for, and I guess you'll have to grind for them because we're gonna ramp the difficulty up in the end game. And so I get the idea behind like creating like the gear treadmill and stuff, like the gear treadmill and stuff, right, to be able to get this going, but I don't think in a way where it's making the players feel like they're defeated, and it's also basically making them like reverse their progress, because that's what happens on the treadmill when you rapidly increase the speed, but then the player can't run any faster. We can't run any faster because we've been playing on 1.0 this entire time. And so to have Act 12 turn into the new Act 7, and then the enemies go from over here, right? Like they used to have 104, level 104 at Act 12, now they're level 124. I'm gonna be real, man. This is a little bit rough. And I don't think players want to play so much to the point where they're I6ing the units that they want to bring into the end game, because that's a lot of time to commit to the game. And when the end game is constantly resetting when it comes to its elements, brother, if you need I6 units to be able to clear with the ramp up in difficulty and they're switching elements every reset, that's a lot of time just to be able to like clear the end game. That's a lot of time. Because if you, to do Act 12 right now, level 124, I do think you will actually need multiple introns. And then get ready to farm another set of introns for the next on-banner favored unit. You can see over here. You combine these. You hit in nerfs over here to farming areas. Then you have the adjustments to the end game. If it was balanced like it was in the 1.0 state, where it's relatively easy to be able to clear, switching the elements isn't that bad. But if you need to be able to clear level 124 enemies, and you're switching the elements, that's a lot of grinding. That's a lot of work. And one thing in this game that a lot of players took for granted when it released was the fact that time is apparently free. Guys, time is free for some people. If you're somebody that does literally nothing with your life, you have no responsibilities, nobody needs you, your time is worth nothing, and you've got a lot to spend it on the game to be able to I6 every unit for every single immersive theater reset. Not everyone else has that time. Not everyone else has that little, is that aimless in life. But the mindset of this community has been,
everything in this game is free. You can grind everything. So if you can grind everything, it doesn't matter what you spend your time on. You can just get everybody I6 with enough time.
And that's one of the reasons for why I actually stopped making content for this game. Because I made this video over here a month ago, announcing to players, Lisbel is a beginner trap. You want to know one of the reasons why I said she's a beginner trap? You can just see it on the thumbnail. When the game launched, the immersive theater, the endgame, required pyro or animo units. Lisbel is like a Spectro one, or a Lumino one, right? She's a Lumino one. And so, when in the endgame, in this endgame, if you're not using the favored elements, you deal like 75% less damage. You deal 400% more if you're on the right element. You deal 75% less if you don't have the right one. So if you don't bring in the right element, it's not clearable. It's literally not clearable. I said Lisbel was a beginner trap a month ago. Really, it's 2 months ago at this point, because Lumino was not favored, because she doesn't do enough damage to clear. You want to know what the reception was? This retarded community of either unemployed adults or actual literal school children just proceeded to tell me, oh, you just rage baiting. Oh, Bo is basically telling us not to build Cartithia because this TOA is error resistant. Lisbel's the GOAT. What's wrong with this guy? You see, there are just so many comments in here, right? And then the video got mass disliked as well by the community. And you want to know what's a fact about Lisbel? This was the second reset of the game. It went from Pyro to Animo to Umbro. And you want to know what it is now? Animo and Hydro. So it will have been literally 3+ resets. And, sorry, this Lisbel unit is still not usable in the endgame. And you want to know what my advice in this video was? Don't build a character or heavily invest in them unless they're going to be usable in the endgame. Because otherwise, you're going to be spending all these resources into all this building going into a unit that you can't even take into the hardest content. And I guess when the content goes up to level 124 at the max level, you kind of really want that 400% damage bonus. 400% for using the favored element. You kind of want that to be able to clear. But instead, I had all these retarded children telling me,
but everything's free! But Saint, everything's free! I can brute force everything! Look! Guys! She does more damage. This is a dumb take. You are approaching the game like it's a gacha. It is not. This is a collection game.
You're right. You should definitely collect the character that you can't even play first. Yeah, when there are limited time rewards, you should go collect the character that doesn't help you get any of them first. And max her out. 100% the character that does nothing for you. Yes, max her out first. Imagine that basic meta advice like this gets mass downvoted. Why would I want to make content for a community this retarded? I basically just said 2 + 2 = 4 and got a 50% dislike ratio. I couldn't deal with it. I could not. So this is a huge reason for why this video over here is one of the biggest reasons for why I stopped making content on the game. Because I liked it. I saw the potential. But unfortunately, seeing how the devs are almost like reverse engineering their systems to like make them worse and not addressing the real issues, right? And then I get to look back and see how stupid the community actually was when all I'm trying to do is help them navigate the challenges in the game. I'm gonna be honest, brother. I wanted this game to succeed, but do you want to know what I unfortunately feel right now? Part of me is like breathing a sigh of relief that 1.1 wasn't like a woo-wah 2.0, because now that means I don't have to interact with this community anymore. Genuinely. Part of me is literally breathing a sigh of relief because I don't have to interact with this community anymore. Because I can't deal with people this fucking dumb. To the point where basic, obvious, meta advice just gets mass brigaded. It's just simple and logical. Nobody can dispute this. Oh, this post got... Oh, I guess there's a little bit of drama surrounding the space right now. Apparently there was like a giant post over here calling out toxic positivity in the community, and it got deleted from the main subreddit. I can see why they're already doing it, especially considering that there is a lot of negative PR. This post isn't deleted though, so I imagine that the other one was a little bit more doom posty. If this one got deleted too, alarm bells would be going off. Maybe this one was just super doom posty because this is very negative, right? I think it's fair to say this is a very negative post. I honestly hope a large amount of players end up leaving so that the devs understand that these player-unfriendly changes are not good for their current game state. Doubling down on aspects people didn't like in the first place is not the way to go. You can see this one's also super fucking negative too. I'm surprised that this one's still up and this one isn't. Maybe there was something wild said in here. Who knows? Anyways, doesn't really matter to me at the end of the day. I've already given my take. I've already given my reasons. And I said, I'm waiting for DNA 1.1 to see whether or not it's time to come back to the game. And unfortunately, from what I'm hearing, it literally sounds like a lot of the game has just gotten worse. And unfortunately, it's also the things that I critiqued. Like systems that I critiqued. And so instead of those systems becoming better, it does actually sound like they've become worse. We'll stay posted to see how this situation develops. But yeah, DNA 1.1, it is looking a little bit rough. Let me know what you all thought, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.